They can't get into it.
we can have it.
Honest.
Oh, yeah. So, okay, ready?
Yeah.
Start, okay, call the meeting to order for April the 8th. Before we start, we have regrets from our two student counselors, Barrett Stone and Sarah Harvey couldn't be with us tonight. And the agenda was circulated in your package. Anything you want to add to the agenda or any amendments? If not, approval.
I'd like to add something to correspondence.
Yeah.
And then be surprised.
It's a surprise.
Surprise.
Surprise, okay.
That's not bad.
Okay.
Yes. Clearly.
Any other additions to?
That's what it is.
I
Surprise?
Council Westry.
Number 8, the fire prevention, or fire protection prevention bylaw, can we table that for the next meeting?
Yeah, and
Yes.
we can, yeah. I think when we get to that, we should just do a motion to table it.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Okay, here, need approval on the agenda as amended.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, carried. Declarations of conflict of interest on the agenda. Hearing none. Approval of the previous minutes. They were circulated in your package from our March 25th meeting. We need a motion to approve the minutes.
So make a motion to approve the minutes from Tuesday, March 25th.
Seconder,
Second.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, carried. Any business arising from the previous minutes?
I wondered if you'd had any word from our junior A hockey team.
We had some conversations.
Yeah,
but
still having
nothing is
conversations.
done.
Still, and we're still waiting on that, and we'll update council, obviously, as we get news, which we do waiting now.
Yeah, we've got nothing.
So I got a couple items, I had a really nice visit with, I took that certificate that the town did for Robert Dean, I took it over and visited with his widow, Linda, and had a really good chat with her. It's, it was really nice, so I did that on behalf of the town. And then we have our housing development incentive policy posted online now. So that was approved at the last meeting. So that's online on our website. And we sent a letter to the Paper World Museum Board of Directors, or the chair, on our representative from the council, and that was done. And, was there anything on the age, we never heard any more on the age-friendly, nothing, Brian, or hearing feedback?
No.
Nothing. Okay, that's all I had. Anything else? So we'll move right into presentations. We have, very fortunate to have our sergeant here, James Gallant, and he's been at this council before in different capacities, and then he's back as the sergeant now in Woodstock, and very pleased to have you here, James, and I know you've been up to this different parts of this area with special events and just, you know, on your normal business. So I'll just turn it over to you, and we'll probably have some questions after.
Yeah, perfect. So what you guys have in front of you is the Q3 report, and it's kind of nice because it breaks it down for Carleton North now. It breaks it down in regions so you guys can see. So we just finished Q4, March 31st, so I'll have that to present next time. So this is the most recent one. So in Q4, we took around 1,600 files, 421 of them were in your guys' area. Your highest one obviously is property crime, crime against persons, other criminal code, I can go into that if you guys need explanation on that, and traffic.
How was the numbers compared to the last quarter?
We're down. Yes.
Significant?
Pretty significant. If Mayor Harvey was at our annual APP setting meeting and we presented on it, and I think we were down in every aspect, quite significantly. We have a lot of our high prolific offenders in custody right now, which compared to last year, I think we're down 23-25% in almost every area, but it all depends who's in custody, right? As soon as we get that 1 or 2 people out, things skyrocket again.
Do you want to go in more detail on page 5, like just, 'cause that's right,
Yeah,
north, maybe?
that's there for you guys to take a look at. If you guys have any questions, property crime, obviously, like we had an influx of, mailbox thefts, those kind of things. That's what drives up those numbers. Crimes against persons, just assaults, those kind of things. Traffic, we are getting a full traffic member to this area. She's starting work on Monday in Woodstock. So if you guys have any areas that you think speeders, people aren't stopping for signs, let me know. I can direct her to those areas to do extra patrols and such.
And what is other criminal code?
Other criminal code, I thought there's a glossary. They were nice enough to put it on page 17. So other criminal code, disorderly houses, gaming and betting, offensive weapons, organized crime related, other criminal code, sexual services offenses, sexual violations, frauds. It could be, it's a plethora of things really. It kind of just covers a whole bunch. But like property crime and crime against person obviously are always going to be probably the top two. Yeah, it breaks it down here. Assaults 19, other violations, violence, threats, probably criminal harassment, things like that in there 19. Fraud for some reason was high. A lot of elderly frauds and stuff. A lot of them go back to the callback unit, or we try to deal with them as best we can. Break and enters 10 for the quarter. That could be sheds, garages, houses, right? Camps. Non-criminal code, quite a bit of traffic, a little bit of provincial statutes. That would be our traffic units coming in, writing tickets and such.
What would be the non-criminal code occurrences? That would be examples.
Non-criminal code, that could be, again, a plethora of
Just under
things.
Assistance files, cancel.
Assistance files if we're going to the hospital or anywhere around here to help, to go check on somebody, welfare checks, things like that. We get a lot of those, like, hey, can you go check on my aunt? We haven't heard from her in 2 days.
Yeah.
Crime prevention, yeah.
So the traffic is there, and then the provincial
Yeah.
statutes,
It's all there, broken down nice.
what would provincial statutes, just give me this as an example.
Provincial statutes would be like tickets under the provincial stuff, like if we write, any sort of traffic tickets, things like that. Provincial statutes of Canada contain public and private acts passed by Canadian government. Yeah, it's a wide variety of things.
So you're saying we now have, or she's starting soon, traffic, she's directed strictly to traffic?
Yeah, so we have a tactical traffic unit in the province, and they're a bit of everywhere, but she's gonna be stationed in Woodstock.
Okay,
So if they want to do like a big blitz, they come together as a unit, and I know they're in Heartland a lot, they're here a lot, they're on the highway a lot. So if there is something specific, she'll call on her partners and bring like 2 or 3 people in, and we'll hit a spot.
okay,
And those are the people I call in for like the tractor pull, the hullabaloo up in Perth, ice
Any big
hockey,
events.
any big events, we get them.
so it's a public service notice, we have traffic police in the area now?
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna see a huge increase, like she will be taken to other places to assist the unit, but she's stationed here. So, yeah.
Okay.
And then if you go on like page 15, it shows like the past 5-year trend, how we're down on mostly everything except for that other criminal code, which,
Do you find winter time there's a lot of,
I wouldn't say that because it all depends who's in custody. That's what I preach, like it's all who's in custody. We have the right people in custody right now. Like we had a bit of an uptick in mailbox thefts. We kind of figured out who it was, but then she got arrested for something and they stopped. Like, you know, it's very conditional on who's in and who's out.
now is there anything being done to look into that, how to prevent it?
We were in talks with Canada Post. We were gonna get Canada Post involved and they had bait packages. And we were gonna put bait packages in, but a few days after she was in custody and they stopped. So they moved their bait packages on to somewhere else that was being hit even harder.
Okay,
Like we weren't being hit the hardest in the province by far, so
so that's an issue that they have as well?
Canada Post, yes.
Okay,
It's those older brown boxes that get hit the most, like they don't hit those new ones, so they're slowly getting rid of those brown ones. Are they? They're much more difficult, I was told, but I'm sure they figured out a way, yes. Yeah. Other than that, like we got a lot of positive things, like I'm looking really good staffing wise, we're very strong, body cams are in, those are gonna help a
how are
lot.
they working? I've seen a couple.
They're gonna work excellent. Yeah, they're gonna work really well.
So every officer is wearing them.
Every officer's wearing them right now.
When did that start?
2 weeks ago? Yeah, here 2 weeks ago, yeah. So,
I think, the reserve members have had them.
yeah, Tobic had them first.
Yeah.
Tobic and Elsie Booktook got them first. And then, yeah, we got them 2 weeks ago.
So your staffing in Woodstock, is it up to where your budget is?
It's
The numbers?
very good right now. We got a few guys that got hurt, like I got one guy that got hurt bad, another 2 guys that got hurt, so as soon as they're back, we're pretty much flush.
Do you backfill them as best you can, or try to backfill them?
It's hard to back, they're like a soft vacancy, they're not a hard vacancy, so we gotta wait for them to get better. Like, we had one guy fall really hard on the ice and hurt himself, and yeah, it's sad, but we're doing well.
Well, we are hearing more wheelers at night, later, so as it warms up, I assume.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just because you've got certain ones in jail, it's because certain ones don't have snowmobiles, but they certainly have access to
Yeah.
four-wheelers.
Sure.
And you've noticed that since it's been not below freezing, that they've been out and about more, and it's.
Mhm. Yeah, that's definitely gonna happen.
Anyway, so it'll be curious to see as it warms up, whether the trend continues.
Yeah. And if it starts, like, we'll start targeting those prolific offenders. If we know they're out, we know who they are, we will target them. Like, I'm getting my full-time crew team in Woodstock. So I have one, and there's another one coming full-time, and I go to them in the morning and be like, hey, what happened last night? And we hit the ground running on whatever big thing was going on. Yeah.
Now, is your staffing up enough that you can focus on, more proactive rather than reactive?
Yeah, that's what we have the community crime reduction team for. They're a bit proactive for those prolific offenders doing the curfew checks. Like, on average, my guys and girls do, I'm gonna say 5 to 10 curfew checks a night now. Like, we're hitting curfew checks hard. So that also gets, those prolifics away when we're checking them at midnight and 2 a.m. and when they don't expect it.
Now, is there any collaboration between like your natural resources side?
We've slowly been kind of integrating with them for like ATV patrols and snowmobile patrols and such, but not a huge amount, no.
It's with public safety now.
Public safety, yes.
Just to be clear.
Yes.
That's all different.
It's with public safety, just so that everybody's
GPS.
clear, that it's not natural resources.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, but it's.
We have been trying to get out more on the four-wheelers, but then it takes a few of my people away, and then if a big call comes in, they're somewhere in the middle of the woods on an ATV, we gotta kind of balance that.
There was a much more bigger presence of police on sleds in my area.
Oh, awesome.
I'm not sure if that comes up.
That'd be like
with stuff.
GPS or,
Okay. But they were like pretty
Yes.
much in my area every weekend.
it's not us, they won't.
Okay,
I've asked for snowmobiles, they won't.
okay. So it's a whole different.
They have, JPS as an off-road detachment that does from Evanston to Fredericton. And that would be snowmobiles,
Okay.
ATVs
Yeah.
in the summertime.
Boats and such, yeah. We try to get on a few boat patrols too.
Just stay on the beach, we'll be all right.
I'd be hitting up.
Specific pontoon boat that you go follow.
If you guys have any questions, I find they really kind of condensed this and kind of made it like area specific, so I think it's nice. And, we set our APPs again, so we'll be hitting the ground running with those again, trying to get on the community more, trying to form more partnerships.
So your drug-related kind of crimes, we found that there's been a reduction in those in the last 18 months.
I don't know if there's been a reduction, but I haven't seen an increase, like.
I have not seen as many people that I thought were messed up.
That's good.
Yeah, it's just an anecdotal observation.
Yeah. But,
Usually when there were 3 or 4 walking through town, you could notice.
yeah, our provincial crime reduction unit is starting back up again, so they should be hitting those targets. But yeah.
So you mentioned patrols earlier, and I know you can't, you have to be careful how much you say for tactics, but you're doing more active patrols now, like, is that a change a little bit?
I'm really pushing them to get out and do those curfew checks, which
Yeah.
gets them into the
Then they're
areas.
driving these areas.
Exactly.
At nighttime.
And I don't want them doing it like going at 11:05 and then the guy's like, oh, well, they checked me once, I'm good for the night to go
Yeah.
rummage around. I want them going at 2 and 3 and.
Okay, and then they're driving up that road, whatever road that may be, and it's more visible.
Exactly. I like to think anyway, yeah.
Okay, that's a good thing, good thing. What about reporting? Do you think people, maybe over the last 4 or 5 years, have just quit calling in as much.
I think people get frustrated with the systems and, yeah.
Yeah, because we always encourage, because there are people watching this, that to call in.
Yep.
For anything. If it's break and enter, obviously, or if it's a suspicious person around your property, call that in.
If you have that gut feeling that you should be calling us, don't wait. Call it in or report it online on the online reporting system or something. Get the info to us because that's what gives me that stat and that's what gets my members in that area.
That's what we really need to push, is a lot of people don't realize that, is it goes by numbers like stats.
We're very stat driven. So if I all of a sudden get a huge increase, I mean, I'm gonna be like, hey, I need more members.
Mhm.
And
That's what I've been trying to tell people, is if you don't call, they don't see the numbers.
yeah, so if my numbers are way down, then they're gonna be like, okay, you're suitably staffed and,
Mhm.
you know, stop bugging us kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, call it in. I always tell people, like, if you think your gut feeling is, hey, I should call the cops, like, don't wait an hour, like, gather as much information as you can and call us.
So the other area that's huge level of frustration among our citizens here is obviously the people on the trails, and bikes and, whatever type of bike, motorized vehicle, right? And I had a conversation today and he said, well, they shouldn't be there. Well, yeah, the province owns the trail. We have no say in the management of the trail.
Yeah.
And the RCMP is our local police force, but it's a very difficult enforcement thing, right? And I'm trying to convey that to citizens because they say, well, I see these motorbikes going on the trails. I said, well, they've been on the trails for 20 years, so we can't change that. We don't have the power to change that.
Yeah.
And you don't have the power, you don't.
Yeah.
To enforce it. Maybe you do have the power, but you don't have the manpower.
It's not the manpower. I had this conversation with Heartland Council a few weeks ago because they were upset about it as well. And one will try to pull over these dirt bikes and these four-wheelers and these guys doing burnouts and doing wheelies up and down your streets, but they don't stop. And then I can't chase them because if they crash, I'll be done. So the biggest thing that I've noticed is that if your community members can somehow tell us if they know who's driving that quad, who's driving that dirt bike, and if it is a young kid, then we can try to proactively go to the parents and try to plead a case that, hey, like, you need to take this thing away from the kid. That's where we've been seeing results, but some parents also don't care and kind of give it back to us. So it's a hard one.
Yeah. Well, it is.
Because we cannot chase a two-wheeled vehicle.
No.
And, I would hate to see somebody crash.
No.
But I know it is frustrating because it's frustrating to us as well when we try to pull them over and they look back and drop a gear and take off, right? It's frustrating. But the best we can do is people call in and say, hey, the kid on the red dirt bike is Joe from down the street. He lives here, and we can go speak to the parents.
Yeah.
Or if they're adults, well, we're done, but.
Well, that's the conversation I had today, and with this gentleman, and I said, did you call the RCMP? And they said, no, we didn't.
Exactly.
I said, well, call the RCMP. If you call, every time you see something wrong there, that's where those occurrences committed, then maybe, you don't know, right? If you don't, I don't know, you don't know, it's hard to control it.
Exactly.
And we don't have the power to just go like that and say, well, no, we can't go there, because, we just don't have that.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating.
It is frustrating. I figured it would come up tonight, and it is frustrating.
Good.
And I wish I had more of an answer,
Well,
like to.
Sometimes there is no answer.
Exactly.
For now. Any other questions?
And your presence in the local schools, I think there was an RCMP presentation at the Carleton North today. I believe.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, there was.
Yes,
Was there?
yeah.
Yeah, Sonia's Excellence, who's our CPO, so, and I have, so every month I have a member assigned to every school in RC12, and they get a task every month. They gotta meet with the principal, do a school walk and a school patrol. So every school has a liaison for the principal to speak to, and if they need like extra bullying presentations or cyberbullying or vaping, then we get in contact with the CPO to set up presentations.
No, it's good to
Yeah.
hear.
So I got another question or comment is, when we, as you know, and the public knows, we were looking at, and still are looking at alternative police options and to address some of those concerns we had about presence, visibility, detachment, engagement with the community. There has been an improvement with the RCMP, there's no doubt about that, and I said that at the Regional Service Commission. And I, you know, to Mr. Leclerc, there has been a big improvement, I think, in the last 6 to 12 months.
Awesome, thank you.
That, in that regard, and I give credit where credit is due. And one of the things that we were going down that path, that was brought up to us was about stranded areas, right? So if we went with an alternative model, you know, we have the US borders to the west and we have woods to the east, you know, in terms of communities and then it'd be north and south, so there would be no stranded areas, like from the Victoria County line to say where it meets up with Woodstock. Jurisdiction, right? So, but I guess, and that was fine, and we had no stranded areas, and there is no stranded areas right today. But with the move in Woodstock to go, all those LSPs all around Woodstock, all the way up, Butts on the Heart, and even the Carleton North, in Bloomfield area, they're all gonna be, there is a move forward to have them patrolled by the RCMP, or sorry, by the Woodstock County Police.
Yes, I believe they're looking at taking over wards 1, 2, 3,
Which is a big
5.
area.
It's a pretty big area.
Population wise, and it comes all the way up north, and picks on Woods Park and us, right, on both sides of the river. So if that's the case, we've been talking about a little bit in council, we're gonna have further discussions, is we still believe that having a detachment in Florenceville, Bristol would be a huge advantage, not only to the citizens here, but to the RCMP, police force, in our opinion. So, because if you look at a map from Florence to Bristol, basically within 20 minutes, because you have access to cross the bridge here, and 20 minutes over north or south, on this side of the river, 20 minutes that way to Heartland, all that Heartland area, all the way to the Victoria County line, you know, roughly 20 minutes in terms of police response. And Juniper, could be 25 minutes, but within that framework, Florence and Bristol is very central, and we still, you know, we still may want to send a letter to the new commander in Fredericton to state our case, you know, that things are improving, but we think that there could be more improvements if because you're gonna have so many officers in Woodstock that are gonna be stranded. They're not gonna be servicing Woodstock anymore. I know you don't just service Woodstock. But you're gonna have a big piece of your population and geographical area being serviced by another police force. So it makes sense that you could relocate your detachment to a more central area.
The only downside of that would be like Lakeland Ridges and such would be upset, I'd imagine, but I get what you're saying, and I don't disagree, and I think you should write a letter, but
Well, we probably will write a letter.
Yeah, I think you should.
It's probably
I personally think Heartland, but
Yeah, well, we won't quote you on that.
yeah, no, okay.
New
It's on YouTube, it's too late.
But the other thing, and maybe you can speak to this too, and, because we believe that having police officers living in our communities could be any of our communities, in Carleton, Centerville, Bath, Florence, Bristol, Juniper, wherever, living here and working here is a huge advantage, right? For, not only for us as citizens, but as for that police force and their members. And so can you speak to some of the, like the program, if there's any programs out there that, and maybe you can send, have somebody send this to us, this information about, I know in the past, towns and villages provided some housing for RCMP officers. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Forced housing?
It was for housing, yeah.
Forced housing, yeah, like
Well, they offered
houses owned by the force.
Yeah.
No, municipalities provided
Transition housing?
Well, it was owned by the municipalities.
Okay,
So if an officer come in, they work 5 years,
okay.
they wouldn't have to buy a house, they would have a house, and then they move on. And but that was very common in Florence, Bristol, Bath, Centerville,
I've never
way
heard of that.
before your guys' time.
Oh, I was gonna say, I thought they were,
Yeah.
those were
RCMP
RCMP
owns
buildings.
them.
Yeah,
No, go back, well, before that time.
Before
This-
that.
I've heard of forced housing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hey.
Municipalities were, yeah, they were building homes.
I've never
You never heard of
that.
that?
No,
Okay.
I've never heard of that concept.
Yeah, this is back.
Because none of us were live, we read live.
So, but I believe that's very important for RCMP officers.
Community engagement, the meeting here is very important.
Anyway, we're open to anything and we're gonna probably
I would-
respond.
I would
It's
definitely
been 2 years
have
since we sent a letter to the district commander, or the district,
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, Jana Hill's been replaced.
Yeah.
That's why we're thinking of writing that letter.
I would, yeah.
So we'll send a letter and then, give credit where credit is due and, look for improvements.
Yes, and I give you credit where credit is due. You guys have been around more often. and-
Oh, yeah,
I think we have.
Anyway,
Thank
I
you.
won't go on with the housing anymore, that's good. Okay.
I think it's an interesting concept, but I've just never heard of it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, any other questions, comments, suggestions, criticisms?
I was not your job, that's all I can say.
No, we do.
That's saying.
Well, if you guys need me, Amy has all my
Yeah.
information and you guys have it here.
Thank you, Sergeant Gallant.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll see you.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Correspondence, you want? So the next item is correspondence. Is the New Brunswick Human Rights Awards. And I'm gonna read this letter and go from there. To whom it may concern, every year the New Brunswick Human Rights Commission presents the New Brunswick Human Rights Awards to New Brunswickers who have made exceptional contributions to advancing human rights, equality, diversity, and inclusion in the province. The commission also celebrates the annual Youth Human Rights Award to recognize young New Brunswickers' commitment to building a better and more inclusive future for our province. Our recipients are role models to New Brunswick citizens as their commitments to equality and non-discrimination make lasting changes to the province's social fabric and create a welcoming and inclusive place for all New Brunswickers. Your municipality can play a vital role in identifying and acknowledging local individuals who have significantly contributed to advancing human rights, and we request that you promote these awards within your community. You can participate in this process by nominating worthy individuals, groups, or organizations from your municipality for the upcoming 2025 New Brunswick Human Rights Awards. Your participation will bring attention to the contributions of local human rights champions, inspire others to emulate their example, advancing the value of human rights and equality in your communities. Attached to this letter, you will find promotional posters which you can display within your municipality to raise awareness about the New Brunswick Human Rights Awards. These promotional posters serve to foster conversations about human rights in your locality, and it will encourage people to come forward with nominations of local human rights defenders. By joining hands, we can honor those who are making a difference in the lives of the Brunswickers and create a more equitable and just province. To nominate somebody from your community, please review the attached nomination package, and the deadline for this year is May 31st, 2025, and you can see this on our website. Sincerely, New Brunswick Human Rights Commission. So that's that.
So can I ask just clarification? Does it have to come from us or can it come from somebody that we?
Anybody can do it.
Okay, so we're gonna post this up so anybody can access it?
Yes,
I don't-
probably already is.
So, yeah, so that can be circulated on the website.
Yes.
And good stuff. Okay. Any other questions on that? So next item is, heart stroke in Brunswick, and I'll have the deputy mayor read this.
To whom it may concern, the Heart and Stroke Foundation's annual door-to-door campaign is scheduled to happen from May 2025 to September 2025. The money raised during these months allows the foundation to continue funding their mission of preventing heart disease, saving lives, and promoting recovery. The Heart and Stroke Foundation is active throughout New Brunswick with programs and initiatives in schools, workplaces, and communities. We are dedicated to helping people live active and healthy lifestyles. This letter is to inform you and council that our volunteers will be canvassing door to door throughout the months of April to September throughout all communities in Brunswick. If you need anything else, don't hesitate to reach out. Sincerely, Engineer Shannon, Manager Operations.
Good. Thank you. And there's another correspondence.
Yes.
So this is the surprise one, so it's Lions Club International. And I received it last night, and I'm going to read it. It is from Dr. Patty Hill, the International President of the Lions Club. And it says, Dear Lion Andrew B. Harvey, congratulations on completing 20 years as a Lion. To commemorate and recognize your years of service, I am presenting you with the Closed Milestone Chevron Award. The Chevron Award is aptly named after the chevron symbol in reference to a badge or insignia indicating rank or length of service. Your commitment to service as a member of our association is both honorable and commendable, as you have touched the lives of so many people. From the smallest project to the largest undertaking, your many years of service have made an incredible difference to your community. Lions Club International recognizes the anniversaries of members like you because they are a reminder of the important milestones in our lives. Your service and your kindness are not only changing the world, you're inspiring others to change it too. Your dedication has given us the opportunity to celebrate, commemorate, and carry our long legacy of kindness forward into the future. Thanks to you, we will continue to make the world a better place for all people, one life, one relationship, and one community at a time. Congratulations once again on your milestone. I wish you many more healthy and happy years to continue your personal commitment to service. Yours in service, Dr. Patty Hill, International President.
Okay. So next item is,
Hey.
no discussion?
Hey, thank you for anything.
I thank them, yeah. No, that's a great club, the Lions Club is, we all of our service clubs are great in the area. I won't start listing them because I'll forget some, but, no, it's a great organization. And I remember 20 years ago I started there, so.
You remember?
But they're great people. Okay, so next item is, bylaws and policies, so I have Councilor Bradstreet.
So I'd like to make a motion that we table this, the bylaw policy for the fire protection and prevention bylaw till the next week.
I'll second it.
Okay. Ready for the question? We're just on that issue, we, the staff worked on this and they're gonna come back, I think, to the next meeting and,
Yes.
have a little more, there's a few things that have to be presented and, ironed out, I guess. But it's something that we wanted to have in place, for the spring and we'll definitely have it at the next meeting, have a discussion on it. So, ready for the question, table that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, carried. So next item is new business, is there annual operating grants for the community investment policy? So we started this 2 years ago, our town council, and it was a way of giving back to our community groups, community organizations, service groups, tourism groups, recreation, et cetera. So every year there's an application process and they apply and staff looked it over and these are the recommendations from those applications and there's 22 applications and 21 were recommended for your approval. And there was one that wasn't, and that was from an organization, Woodstock, but they're gonna come and present to council next meeting as the Valley Food Bank. Because we need a little more information of, it's a regional group and what we can do to work with them on. And, so we didn't support their application here, but there may be other ways to support it after they present to council. So those are the list that was circulated by the CAO, to your package. And that's, like I said, every year we do this, and it's good to give back to these volunteers, groups that, you know, helps pay their insurance, their overhead bills, and power bills, and whatever types of other bills to maintain some of their facilities. And they can do with it as they wish, but they report back to council or to staff what they do normally and what they use, and go from there.
Previously, those were given out by the province, right? There was some money available to a lot of those
In
organizations.
some areas, they were receiving some money, but it was an ad hoc thing, and this is kind of an annual thing that we have structured.
Yeah.
And they can kind of somewhat count on it to some degree, maybe some young leaders we could do more, but we try to do as best we can with the budget we have, right, so.
How many applications have you received?
22,
Two. Okay.
and so I'll need council to make a motion on that and to approve and have a discussion.
Then just. Do you want me to read it?
I was gonna read it, but I didn't know.
Yeah,
The
Councilor
District of
Connor.
Carleton North recognizes the importance of supporting community-based and nonprofit organizations, enhance tourism, recreation, and cultural programming in the district. In accordance with the Community Investment Policy A-03, funding is provided to eligible organizations for programming and operational support for project costs. Following a review of 22 applications, 21 applications have been approved for funding under the 2025 Community Investment Annual Operating Grant Program. I move that the District of Carleton North Council approve the allocation of $74,000 in 2025 Community Investment Annual Operating Grant as follows. Community-based groups, Ariel Chotal, 2,000, Beechwood Community Park, 3,500, Live Lake Community Center, 3,500, Glassville Community Center, 3,500, Juniper Community Center, 3,500, Juniper Recreation Association, 3,500, Mount Pleasant Community Center, 3,500, Stickney and Area Recreation Council, 3,500, Upper Kent Recreation Center, 3,500, fraternal groups, Bath Line Club, 3,500, Central Alps Home Limited, 3,500, Central Legion, Victory Park, 3,500, King Club of Lawrenceville, 3,500, Knights of Columbus, 3,500, Lawrenceville Legion number 37, 3,500, the Tourism, Heritage and Culture Clubs, Aberdeen Snow Club, Snowmobile Club, 2,000, Carleton Border View Trailmakers Association, 2,000, Carleton County Toy Run Association, 2,000, Mountain View Trailmakers Snowmobile Club, 2,000, New Brunswick Potato World Museum, 10,000, and one recreation group is the Lawrenceville Curling Club of 5,000.
We have a seconder?
I'll second it.
The second, ready for the question or comments?
I do have a question. Andrew and Wilma King Art Gallery. Is that not under this one?
No, that was a separate line item in the budget, so we separated that and the gallery and the library.
Or separate, yeah.
They're separate items.
Yeah.
Ready, so any other questions? Okay, have a motion to approve, or, all those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, carried. Thank you. So the next item under that was under that, what we budgeted for the community investment was the beautification grants. So there was a separate application there because criteria are different and the amount of money allocated in our budget was different. So that was, we want, those are processed after tonight, hopefully, so these groups, like I said, the criteria are different, so they're supposedly, and some of them do, send in information, what they do with this money, like it could be around beautification outside, could be a sign, could be anything to beautify the property or their area, so,
Last year, did we not discuss that they had to send pictures in? We did.
Yeah.
Yes, they have,
Yeah.
they're supposed
they
to.
have to,
So are
We
we going to
received
make
some.
sure they do that this
Yes,
year? or
it's
they
in the
don't?
letter. It's in the letter, yes.
we did receive some, but not everyone, so.
Yeah.
We, and all this is a picture, just, or a little bit of a description, so. So that's the ones that, so I need a motion, and we can have discussion on that, or if, anybody wanna move that?
The District of Carleton, again, if no one says.
Well, okay.
Already, Mike's waking up.
Councilor,
The District of Carleton 2025 beautification grants. The District of Carleton recognizes the importance of community beautification efforts in maintaining and enhancing public spaces. In accordance with Community Beautification Policy A-04, funding is provided to eligible nonprofit community organizations for projects that enhance the visual appeal of their communities. Following a review of 17 applications, 14 organizations have been approved for funding under the 2025 Community Beautification Grant Program. I move the District of Carleton North Council approve the allocation of $7,000 in 2025 community beautification grants, awarding $500 to each of the following organizations. Community-based groups, the Beechwood Community Park, By the Lake Community Center, Glassville Community Center, Juniper Community Center, Juniper Recreation Association, Mount Pleasant Community Center, Stickney Recreation Council, the Upper Kent Recreation Center. Fraternal groups, Bath Lions Club, Centerville Legion number 84, Victory Park, Florenceville Legion number 37. Tourism, Heritage and Culture, Carleton Border View Trailmakers Association, Mountain View Trailmakers, and the New Brunswick Potato World Museum.
Have a second?
Second that.
Second by Councilor Robert. So on the question, any comments?
So I assume only 14 are accepted as 17 because that was the cap of the amount in our budget, is that?
No,
No, there was 3 that applied that they weren't,
We're outside the perimeter.
they were, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
and that's a discussion for another day with council. The 3 that were deemed ineligible were affiliated with provincial mandate schools. And if council wants to look at that for another year, like home and schools or early learning centers, then you can do that and change, like look at the policy for another year, but under the policy as it's written, that they just weren't eligible. But, so, anyway, everything can be looked at again. So those are the three different groups. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay, carried. Thank you very much. And next item is, council statements. So Councilor Oates. Oh.
You never start with me, I swear to God.
Start with Taylor, please. Start with Taylor. Taylor, please, tell me it.
Councilor Oates. She's good.
Oh, she's going.
Oh my God.
Councilor Watson.
I attended the UNN meetings in Fredericton with Mayor Harvey, Councilor Oates, and CAO. It was very informative, really good meetings. I also attended the NHL Legends game. It was a huge success. If you didn't get there, you missed out. It was a lot of fun. It was packed house. The staff did an amazing job. They really, really did. It was, and the volunteers, it was so fast, like literally 1 hour. And that entire place was in and seated, less than an hour to get everybody in that door. It was, they did a great job. Volunteers and everybody, good job. It was really fun. That's it. Yeah. Well.
Councilor Bradstreet.
I attended the NHL Legends again, and it was beautiful, job well done. And I attended 4-H for the past couple days, great turnouts, and the big sale tomorrow. So if you're around, venture over. And had a fire committee last night.
Councilor Dixon.
I had a welcome retention committee meeting. The final picture will be done, and the ad will be sent off. I believe 2 circulations of medical journals, which hopefully will get some attention. And I drafted up a term of reference for the ages community and sent it off to Gabby, and she can take a look at it, do any tweaking that needs to, and then we'll send it out to council for approval. Look to move forward on that. And I did meet Dr. Kamari. And she's a very nice lady. I guess she's working right straight at the committee, or at the clinic now, and seeing lots of patients. That's it for me.
Good, thank you. Councilor Oates.
I don't normally mention, but I'm gonna mention them. 2 residents, lifelong, long-time residents of the McElroy Road passed within a week of one another on my road. Frank and Al Sweeney. Al's passed the week before her husband. Just wanted to recognize great community members, good friends. Anyway,
So, they were good friends, I'll interrupt, there's good friends to your 2 sons. And they did a lot of back and forth, so just to give you a little break.
So I'll move to my written statement now. I attended the advocacy days in Fredericton along with Mayor Harvey and Councillor Watson and Amy, our CAO, March the 26th and 27th. Had some very informative sessions and had the opportunity to meet with the Minister of Ag, Pat Finnegan, to advocate for some local agricultural issues that we have here in our district. Met with the Minister of Education, Claire Johnson, the Minister of Transportation, Chuck Chasson, and the Minister responsible for Regional Development Commission, Jill Lepage, and had some very productive conversations with each of them regarding concerns we have in the districts and some of the projects we have going on here. And as most of us here, I watched the NHL Legends, a fantastic show, excellent execution by Andy, Jill, and the volunteers, and the fire department volunteers. That it was really well done. I'm hoping they bring them back another year. Met with the public safety manager, Tristan Cipral, and Chief Stephen Armour, and Assistant Chief Al Downey to discuss next steps for the fire training center, development of that. Met with the RDC representative, Eric Dubé, to discuss our daycare project in Bath. Went to a Lions meeting, and the zone chair spoke, and she was supposed to present you with that Chevron medal. Today I went to the spring show and sale, watched the 4-H judging. Great commitment from the volunteers and students of that to make it happen each year. Going to be there tomorrow as well to watch the sale, and I suggest everybody that's watching to come out and support and help and cheer the kids on. It's a great event.
Bye, Kat.
Good. Councillor Connor?
Well, I think I'm the only counselor that procrastinated and didn't get tickets to the NHL game, so I couldn't go.
I didn't either.
But she's in Mexico, so I couldn't go either.
Anyways, I procrastinated, didn't get tickets, wish I would have, but I heard it was excellent and great, so that's great. And I just did 2 chase the ace draws, so choose the rest. That's
Did I win yet?
it. No.
Councillor Stewart?
Well, I spent a week in Mexico and had a great time.
And he had a birthday while we were in Mexico, I was supposed to be in
You should have invited us to your birthday party, Mike.
I had a complaint of, traffic coming over where the daycare is. They feel they should have a stop sign out there. And people are pulling in from buses and not waiting for them, and it's gonna be an accident.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I went to see the 4-H kids yesterday. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, they are. It's very impressive. You're done? Good.
Short and sweet.
That's all right. So, yeah, mine's short and sweet too.
Oh, you forgot Karen.
Oh.
I'm sorry,
Captain
that'd be
Mayor. See, shoot me off your face. You're
Not
not.
bad.
You're bad.
I also attended the NHL Legends, and I really enjoyed, like, the NHL Legends were amazing, but then the local legends were pretty amazing to watch too. And one of the NHL players didn't wear a helmet, which I just found like just insane.
What was he doing with
I don't
that? I
know.
asked him, he's like, I don't need it.
Yeah, that was great.
Maybe you
I'm now a fan.
maybe you were-
No,
Oh, back in the day.
back in the day.
Yeah.
I was like, dude's gonna get smashed in the head. Yeah.
And then I attended a meeting last week at the library with our CAO, the library manager, and their treasurer, and we discussed their enabling accessibility grant and the steps that they're gonna work towards this summer, or this year. And I also attended the spring show and sale of the judging, 4-H judging last night, and then I'll be at the sale tomorrow to cheer on all, not just 4-H, it's just not just 4-H kids, but 4-H kids and then the local farmers that have their steers in as well. And on last week, we went, all of our employees, we went to the Sugar Moon Cookhouse and had a great meal. And they didn't hardly were there serving us pancakes, it was delicious.
It's all about the service.
Oh, sorrow.
Yeah, good. It's all about the service. Yeah, so, Taffy on the snow, yeah. No, we had the UMNB advocacy days at first, and I thought they were very well done, and then, at most of these conferences, it's the times you're not in those organized meetings where you get things done too. So we went over to the legislative assembly, and I didn't get anybody in trouble or anything, because Shayla knew her way around anyway, or Councilor Watson, and,
I struggle
and I'm looking at Councilor Bradstreet, but I didn't get anybody in trouble.
Scott smelled the knife into the
So-
legislature.
But we had a good visit, and, we're introduced there by the Minister of Transportation from MLA from the Grand Falls area. And our MLA was there too, and, didn't have much of a chance to visit with her other than at the UMNB meetings. But anyway, they were really good, and, I felt they were very beneficial. We talked a lot about, the fiscal reform and, what's happening with the current government, and they're gonna be doing estimates, probably in the next 2 weeks, that department will be releasing some numbers for municipal fiscal reform. And, with legislation to follow that up in May. So at our next council meeting, I think, we'll have something to talk about and discuss what how that would look and how it should look, and our opinion on that as a municipality. So I think that's important, that fiscal reform is definitely needed in terms of taxation and, our revenue streams as a municipality. Because about 87% of our revenue is from property tax, and it's, as we all know, we don't control that other than the tax rate, but the assessments have to be looked at too. And so that's part of a bigger package with the current government. So we'll see how that goes. And then NHL Legends games, obviously, I was very privileged to have a chance to coach, and along with Danny Braun from Plastron with the World Pond Hockey, but I was kind of just opening the door, and he was doing the coaching, but we lost the game. But we gave it a good effort, and I think they had a lot of talent on the other side there. Even though they have some age, they have a lot of talent. So anyway, it was good. It was really fun. Those types of things I think are so. We need to do more of that as a district. Plus, I think we come out of it making some money, and we'll have a report for council probably maybe the next meeting. But there'll be a full report of how we profited from that, which is a bonus to have in the event. And so it was really good. Well done to our staff, and I recognized our recreation staff that night, and of course our CAO, but all the staff and all the firefighters were there, and everyone. It was kind of a group effort, and our volunteers and the young people that were there involved there. So that's good. So our CAO and I signed the documents for the purchase of a small parcel of land in Centerville for the addition to the Centerville Fire Hall. Got that all done, and we had a meeting with the Regional Service Commission on zoning, and that'll be by next meeting. We'll have something to report to council and have further discussions on that. On the zoning that was started 2 years ago by the group, and that's moving forward. And we had a meeting with the Fire Training Center, as Councilor Oaks mentioned, and that's moving. That's a great project. I had a chance to go to we're so blessed to have the Second Wind music group there in Bristol. It's and among other cultural things that we have here, but they had a concert that night, and I went to see Gallant, and he's from PEI. He's kind of a recognized Canadian folk singer, and that was really well sold out, obviously, and it's good and nice. It's a nice venue. So I couldn't make the Centerville Elks of the 55th anniversary Saturday night, and I dropped off a certificate there on behalf of the town. And I think Councilor Stewart gave it to one of the Chamber of Commerce members, and they took it out, but I just couldn't make it. Saturday night after Sugar Moon working, and I had a family funeral that afternoon in Woodstock, and I just, at 4 or 5 o'clock, I just go home. So and Councilor Stewart was under the weather too, I think, so anyway, so we could, but they had a nice anniversary. I heard some feedback from it, and they had a nice celebration at the Elks Club, and hats off to them on their 55th anniversary. So visit the spring show and sale, and like, kind of, everybody, if you can make it there tomorrow. I was there at the show today, it was really nice, and last night, and it's just nice to see, and that's a great venue, the arena, host that in the Civic Center. It shows that within a week's time, you take the ice out, and you have something else there. That's good use of the facility. So, next Wednesday, and we'll be sending an email on this, is we have the Minister of Opportunity in Brunswick was supposed to be up in March, but with the tariffs, that discussion on that day, they had to postpone, and he's gonna come back next Wednesday. So I want him to meet with council. We're gonna have lunch either here or some other place, but we'll send an email out on that so that you can have a discussion with him. So the Minister of Opportunity in Brunswick is Luke Randall, his assistant will be here, so you can discuss things from that, business perspective and investments and all the economic growth. So that, we'll send you an email on that next day or two, but that's the date. And the federal election, and that's on, so on April 28th, and I think, if it's all right with council, I think we for April 22nd meeting, we can invite the candidates to come to council and, give a short word or what they're thinking, what their vision is, and, do like we did last time with the original election. And if it's all right with council, we can have the CEO send those invitations out now, because the list of candidates is complete. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's probably 4 or 5, but we'll invite them, and, yeah. So I think it's important that those federal issues have impact in our district, and, just to hear what they got to say, and democracy, and I think that's good, so we'll do that if that's okay with you. We'll do that, and that'll give us a week before the election, April 28th, but our meeting next is April 22nd. So to Deputy Mayor's point, I can kind of visit Sugar Moon on the weekends, and sometimes through the week with school groups, I can go in as needed, and I love doing that, but it's really fun, but I'm glad it's only 7 weeks, so it's like, I don't think I can do it every day, every week, so, but it's good. And we had Councilor Bradstreet, his family was in on the weekend, and that was really nice, and everybody loves the taffy on the snow. And the people that make it, so. Yeah, Joe, yeah. So, anyway, all the best, and we'll talk to you later about that, and I'm just rambling.
Let's talk, okay.
Okay, next item is adjournment.
I'll make
Okay.
a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
Everybody.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Everybody, here, thank you.
I'll talk to you later. Telephone? Bye, touch later.
We all.